Hello everyone, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. Alright, so we have an update here regarding Dish. The article is coming from Fierce Wireless. I'll link it down below in the description for you guys. But let me just say something before we get into this. There's a lot to be said about Dish Network and Dish Wireless, Boost Mobile, Boost Infinite. There's a lot of different opinions on them. On Dish in general, right? As a company, where they are, where they've gone, where they're going, where they're heading, should I say. Everyone has different opinions, different suggestions, ideas. Many say Dish should just wrap it up, go home. They're not succeeding. They're basically just wasting everyone's time. They want the spectrum to be sold off, divvied up into the other three carriers. This way they can get stronger, bigger, more successful, and Dish can get out of everyone's way, as far as many are saying. Now, me personally, I think Dish's native has great potential. Many are demonstrating that. They're saying that the performance is excellent. It's working better than some of the other three carriers in their neck of the woods. So this is exciting news to hear, right? And I have some faith in Dish, and as far as native, and I think maybe, given some time, they'll be able to perfect and fine-tune the network so that it will be maybe just as good, if not better, than the other three carriers. However, this is a very expensive thing to do. We know this. It's not cheap. It's never going to be cheap. It's going to get more expensive as time goes on. Things are going to go up. It's going to cost more for them to build. 5G was never an easy, cheap project. It was always going to be something very expensive and difficult to do. And that's why many of the carriers, particularly AT&T, lost a lot of money doing this. And even Verizon as well. It's very expensive. T-Mobile's lost a lot of money as well. T-Mobile had a lot more advantages with the purchase of Sprint. It was they basically cut the line. Many are upset about that because they feel it was very unfair. And yes, it was. However, they haven't really succeeded much more since the purchase of Sprint. The builds outs have slowed down. There's not much that they have done. They're pretty much just staying on N41. At this point in time, not much going on, okay? But back to Dish. Dish, like I said, will not go quietly, okay? No matter how much you want them to, I feel like they will continue to find their way and find different paths that will lead them to their success. Even if it takes time, they're just going to keep doing baby steps until they find a way to get the money that they need to continue to build out and stay in the game. This is an example right here. So, what is Dish doing? Like I said, they're going to do what they have to do to stay in the game. This right here is proof. So, what's going on? Dish Network has apparently struck a deal to sell its spectrum assets in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, along with about 120,000 prepaid Boost Mobile subscribers in those markets to Liberty Latin America. So Liberty will pay Dish $256 million for this in cash and also provide international roaming credits to Dish. The purchase will be paid in 4 annual installments commencing on the closing date, which is expected sometime next year. So during the Q3 2023 earnings call, Charlie Ergen, who is the Dish chairman for those of you that don't know, says that they have a lot of experience in Puerto Rico over the years with pay TV and in the last couple of years with wireless. He says that it is a challenging market. It's a very competitive market. There's a lot of weather challenges, but he's saying the build out would be very expensive. if they did it, if they had to build from scratch. So he's saying he thought it would be much cheaper, much more affordable, and better for everyone if they entered into a transaction which gives Liberty a much more competitive spectrum position. He says that that would also bring, obviously, them new capital in terms of sale proceeds, as well as a pretty significant capital savings from not having to build on both of the islands. He says that would be, like I said, very expensive. And he says by entering into the transaction, he knows that they'll be able to focus those funds back into the U.S. As well. So there was a little bit of conversation from some analysts. Moffett Nathanson, which is from penned a research note yesterday saying that Dish Network Q2 2023 earnings, the wheels falling off. So basically, they are basically knocking Dish down. They're saying what many say, that this $256 million, which is pre-taxed apparently over 4 years, is not going to really do much. We know the kind of bills that Dish has. Apparently they worked out a deal, which we talked about here, with T-Mobile. They're going to give them $100 million as kind of like good faith towards the 800 megahertz of spectrum. Because we know that T-Mobile was not very happy with, Dish looking for more of an extension in time to pay up the $3.59 billion, which they basically promised to T-Mobile. So Dish wants the 800 megahertz, they're saying. They basically have to buy it at this point in time, as that was a promise. But, I can get why many, don't have the faith in Dish like some of us do. Basically they take a look at the financials from Dish, and their streaming services like Sling TV are performing poorly. Customers are leaving, or there were some additions, but it's not enough. I get it. Dish Network, a lot of customers are leaving Dish Network cable. Customers are cutting the cord. Let's be real. So it's going to be difficult for them to try to bring in capital off of that, which is why they've been trying to do it through Boost Infinite, the Boost mobile plans, and still it's a struggle. The struggle is real for all of these carriers. It's very difficult for many of these companies to stay in a position, or the position that they want to be in, without having to decrease, prices, increase services, and basically take losses. There's a lot of belt tightening that has to be done. All the carriers are doing it. It's not just Dish. But yes, there was a lot of mistakes made by Dish. We know this. We've seen some turnaround, to be fair. We have seen some turnaround. We've seen Dish do certain things and readjust a little bit that shows us that, maybe it could be possible. Now, if you want to go ahead and just look at the Q3 earnings on their streaming services and Dish Network as a whole, and you want to laugh about it and you want to say that it's time for Dish to wrap it up, you may not be 100% wrong, okay? Like, financially, it doesn't look good. But one thing I'm trying to tell you is they will not go quietly. They will find a way to stay in the game. They will do little things that raise them enough money to work out deals with the right people and get what they need to stay in the game. And that's what they've been doing. They've been slowly launching Dish Native, and it's starting to become more available in more cities and states. People are starting to, test the network, saying that it's actually quite reliable. So who knows, right? Who knows? Maybe this is a turnaround for Dish. Now, giving the $100 million towards the 3.59 kind of locks them in place for a little bit. So we'll see. Maybe they'll actually be able to purchase that 800 megahertz of spectrum. Of course, they still have to complete, a certain percentage in accordance to the FCC for, the native build out, the network build out. So, there's a lot on their plates, and only time will tell whether or not they'll actually be able to survive. The merger with EchoStar, it seems promising for them to raise more money. So these are all things that, Dish will continue to do to bring in capital. They'll find their way, and I guess we'll just have to sit back and watch. So there you have it, guys. A little bit of a longer video, but not too long, hopefully. Either way, thanks, guys, for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.